Hello and welcome to Euro Football Daily, where today we've got a special guest for you. It's ex-player, pundit and mental health campaigner Stan Collymore. Thanks for being with us.
Good to see you, chaps. Thank you.
You're welcome, Stan. And let's go straight in with a question that we perhaps don't talk about enough on our channel and elsewhere. It is mental health. Obviously, you're a big advocate for talking about mental health. You've done a lot of work with Mind, haven't you? And it's probably re-entered our consciousness as football fans since what happened with Aaron Lennon a couple of months ago. I wanted to ask your opinion on that. Obviously, you showed your support for him online. It's garnered quite a positive reaction from the community as a whole. So I wanted to ask you first more about your work with Mind, and secondly, what you thought to the whole Aaron Lennon situation.
Well, I think that primarily, I mean, you know, we're sat here now. You two are very young men. I'm much older than you. I think that one of the issues with mental health campaigning, and look, going all the way back to 1997, I came out and spoke about my own mental health. I was struggling with depression. Is that for me then? You were just told to pull your socks up, get on with it. The manager at Aston Villa, John Gregory at the time, the chairman, and that was very much the attitude. We don't talk about it, you just have to sort of get on with it. We ignore it, it doesn't really exist. But we know that 1 in 3, 1 in 4 people, that's everybody, we're in London today, 1 in 3, 1 in 4 people will struggle with a mental health issue at some stage in their life. So in the UK of what, 70 million people, that's 15 to 20 million people, that's a hell of a lot. I think that young men in particular still find it quite hard. There's a lot of sort of alpha male attitude, a lot of bravado. You're with your pals, you don't want to be perceived to show weakness. But I also think now that the conversation on social media, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, with so many people talking about and sharing their stories, is that people can just see that you might be poorly for a week or 2 or a month. It doesn't make you any less capable, it doesn't make you crazy. You are just poorly like you would be if you'd broken your leg, or if you had cancer, or if you had ME. So I think that we've now pushed mental health issues into the mainstream in terms of people accepting it and the acceptance of it. So basically about 5 or 6 years ago, as a football commentator, going around lots of grounds, doing 70, 80 commentaries upwards a season, I thought, well, it's time that somebody raised some money to be able to, at that stage, of course, we were in the middle of a financial crisis. NHS funding for mental health issues has always been perilous. It's one of the first things to go when cuts are made.
The waiting list is terrible, aren't they?
So I went out, I found a charity that I knew about, Depression Alliance, which was a tiny charity then, several people working for it in the capital. And every game that I went to, got hold of the press officer or players or contacts that I knew and said, right, can I get Steven Gerrard's shirt? Can I get Luis Suarez's shirt? Can I get Neymar's shirt? And those shirts went out to various fans. And what happened is the amount of money that we raised by the shirts sales, and lots of bands put stuff in drums and guitars, editors and stuff like that, is that other companies put in money, and we raised £1 million. That then went into a website called Friends in Need. So if you go to friendsinneed.co.uk, basically you can go on there, register anonymously or as yourself, and a geolocator will find people that are either struggling or way ahead in their mental health journey to be able to have a chat, help. If you're really struggling, might be able to go and get you a loaf and a bottle of milk. Friendship, talking. And then obviously since that, you know, whether it be Robert Enke, the German goalkeeper, lost his life, whether it be Gary Speed, lost his life, whether it be Aaron Lennon, whether it be people like Marcus Trescothick in cricket that came out and spoke about mental health issues, is that the good thing, of course, when you see somebody like Aaron Lennon and you think, well, he's been taken in under the Mental Health Act, that's a very serious thing. But the fact that his family came out pretty much within hours and said, yes, this has happened, he's getting treatment, Everton as a club came out and gave him support, shows how much further forward we are. That would have probably been hidden 5 years
as
ago.
As opposed to you being asked to keep it an internal matter.
Exactly,
over
precisely.
support, yeah.
And the reason why it's important is, if you're a youngster reading that, you can say, well, Aaron Lennon can talk about it, so can I. And that is the most important thing for me moving forward with mental health issues, is that if you talk about an illness that is by its nature isolating, then you can talk about it, get help and get better quicker and be a functioning member of society. That's it.
Well, I think we'd like to ask you a little bit about the state of Liverpool now.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel Klopp's progressed the club, and how do you, what do you think is the next step for them? Who do they need to bring in to challenge?
Well, if you're looking at next season with English clubs in the Champions League, the bar that's just been set by Real Madrid recently against Juventus, is that you think to yourself, well, how many world-class individuals are there that can get you out of jail? Chelsea, Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United, and Manchester City next season. And you're probably looking at, if you had to take one attacking unit that could probably do damage to most teams in the Champions League, you'd probably say Man City. Yeah. Aguero, Jesus, Sane, you just brought in Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling, and of course David Silva. So as a unit, and of course Chelsea have had problems because we don't know what Eden Hazard's injury is going to be like, or how long it's going to take. We don't know whether Diego Costa's going for Manchester United, what's happening with Zlatan, what's happening with Rooney. Arsenal, will Giroud go? Would they get an Mbappe in terms of Arsenal not being in the Champions League? So there's plenty of questions about the other clubs. City's front half of the team, no problems at all. Emerson, Mendy coming in will massively add to them, but I still think they need a couple of top quality defenders. Whether Virgil van Dijk would be that kind of, could take the step up from Southampton with the greatest respect to help him win a Champions League, I don't know. So that's Manchester City. I think that they're best place out of all of our clubs to do well in Europe next season. If you then put that into some sort of context of Liverpool, I think that Liverpool have to now get rid of the shackles. It reminds me of Man United when they got to 26 years without a title. Everybody knows they're a big club. Everybody knows that they've got pedigree. But too many excuses have been made now about it's going to be next season we compete. It's going to be the season after we're building a team. Liverpool now are in the, they've got a world-class manager. They've got some top quality talented players. Stadium redevelopment allows for more money. Premier League money is huge. There are no more excuses for Liverpool. In terms of the Premier League next season, I would be very, very surprised if they won it. With all of the spending that Pep Guardiola, Mourinho and Conte will have at their disposal, plus better squads already, that they're just going to bowl into the Champions League next season with the squad they've got and compete and win the league. I think that they will be mistaken even with Jurgen Klopp.
We saw it with Rodgers, right? They came very close to winning the league. They qualified for the Champions League the year after, and they just didn't have that depth in their squad to deal with those extra games. They didn't have.
But there can't be any more excuses from FSG. FSG as owners need to put the money up.
And they're buying Salah, aren't they?
Yeah, to be able to do that.
It looks like
so they've got to be buying 2 or 3 players, 30, 40, 50 million pound, a marquee signing that gets people excited.
Who would you sign? Sorry.
I think they've got. I think that if Arsenal are genuinely have offered, which we believe it's true, £87 million from Mbappe, and if Liverpool have anywhere near that kind of money, then Liverpool can offer 5 Champions Leagues and a great history to Arsenal's none, and they can offer Champions League football, which Arsenal can't offer. Now the odds are the lad's going to go to the premium clubs that are doing it in the here and now. But surely if Arsenal are going to make a bid for him, if I'm a Liverpool fan, I would be at least disappointed if they weren't trying. In other words, if he's for sale and his agent is entertaining offers, at least make an offer. You don't know until you ask.
Definitely. Mbappe at Liverpool.
I know.
It'd be exciting.
Daniel Sturridge.
But he'll go to Real Madrid.
Daniel Sturridge wouldn't be a fan of that, would he?
Yeah, exactly. With Daniel Sturridge going to Monaco.
Obviously, we talk about football day in, day out, but the real gripping subject at the moment for me and Patrick is the election that's coming up on the 8th. And I think we're both very much in the same mindset. For me, there's only one viable party. I want to know your opinion before I force my opinion on you. But I'd like to know your thoughts, being a politically engaged man. What do you think of the Tories, of Labour, Jeremy Corbyn?
Look, I think that we've come through I mean, firstly, sort of my political background is that about age 11, 12, I was very aware of apartheid in South Africa. I have no family or I've got friends there now, but I used to send pocket money to the African National Congress because I thought, how is this situation kind of manifested itself? And I was very young, so I was always very politically engaged. So when the opportunity to get a chance came to vote, I've always voted. I've been a Labour Party member at various times in my life. I am a member now. I was a member back in the 90s and then had a hiatus where I was like a bit done with it after the Iraq War and lies and crap and what have you. Yeah. And I understand that there's a lot of apathy because a lot of people will go into an election thinking my vote is going to make no difference whatsoever. Not only is that wrong, but that is for me what the political classes want. Low turnouts mean people just walk into power. They don't necessarily earn it. The higher the turnout is, you're starting to get a proper representation of what people do and don't want. I like Jeremy Corbyn because I think that the manifesto is radical. I read the Labour manifesto, I've read all the manifestos. The Labour manifesto, I like the thought of some nationalisation. I like the thought of
national education committees. Great.
Exactly, kind of, you know, I mean, they've even broached the situation with the kind of the grassroots funding of the game 5%. That we love. You know, we're looking at it from a purely selfish perspective because we're football fans. But there is no doubt that when there's, you know, £8–10 billion coming in, and Raiola, Paul Pogba's agent, is walking away with 41 million in his pocket. Yeah. Whereas clubs can't play on pitches down the road and they're paying 60 quid to hire a pitch for half an hour, or there's no kits or the facilities are crap. Exactly. At a time that we're making a lot of money, that it would seem very reasonable to expect some sort of levy on that. I want to see democratic socialists reclaim the flag. I'm sick of seeing, whether it be UKIP, you go further right than UKIP and you've got the BNP or the EDL going seriously far right, or the Conservative Party, that they're the party of the flag and of being patriots. There is nobody that loves their country more than I do. There's nobody more passionate about their country than I am. But all I see consistently from right of centre is, these left-loving, tree-hugging communists. And they're not. You know, Jeremy Corbyn has been in politics for 40 years.
Liberals become a dirty word,
to try and make people's lives better. Yeah. So for me, I think it's a very, very exciting time. People do have a real choice. I would urge particularly youngsters to go out and vote. Yeah. Notoriously very difficult people to get into because they feel, what's the point?
Disengage. I
but
think that's
the 18 to 30 age group is going to be, they can define their own future by going out and voting in this election. They should ignore people of my age, 46, 56, 66, 76, that are like, the Daily Mail have told us that there's 10 million more immigrants coming in. No, that's not going to be the case. But if you're a youngster, you can mould what kind of country you want to live in. And I would hate to think that there are people watching this or people at home that think, what's the point of even voting? It's going to make no difference. They can absolutely make a difference, and they should make a difference, and they should want to make a difference.
Yeah, definitely. We've already had our fingers burnt with Brexit, haven't we, the youngsters?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's to level it up. It's to make it 1-1.
Absolutely.
Take it into extra time. Absolutely. So that's all we've got time for on Continental Club EFD Squad. Who do you want to see as interview next time? Let us know, as always, in the comments below. Thank you very much, Stan, for joining us. Thoroughly enjoyed our chat. He's a Labour voter. Come on, Jeremy Corbyn on the 8th. Boom.